Sound okay. Good evening, friends. Anyone of you can kindly unmute and tell me whether I am audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you. So my name is Jayasekhar. I am working as a principal scientist here at ICAR Central Plantation Crops Research Institute and section of Agricultural Economics, Division of Social Sciences. So today, my idea is to provide a general glance, like an overview of agribusiness landscape pertaining to the plantation crops. Obviously, I would be biased because we are mainly dealing with coconut, cocoa, arecanut. Of course, a tinge of spices also I will try to incorporate. And as yesterday we were discussing, specific exclusive classes will be there hereafter. This is just to start off. So just to familiarize with the global and domestic scenario. I know this is evening time, it's quite boring, but of course we are into a mission mode. So we will try to complete it. That's why any doubts or any further clarification later. Anyway, we are creating a WhatsApp group also. We will share the number so that any specific doubts or clarification we would deal later on also. So without delay, we will start off today's presentation. As I am taking an anticipatory bail, it's not very specific or very pragmatic. This is to give an overall idea. Yes, some of the issues also what we have confronted with some of the FPOs and the entrepreneurs, that also we'll discuss. So this is for your general information and general idea. So this is a kind of knowledge enriching mode I will be presenting. So plantation crops, anyway, we are dealing with the plantation crops mainly. Here, we need to know what exactly, how we define the plantation crops. That is important. So these are a group of commercial crops. Perennial in nature, that means it will be in the field for more than 1 year, maybe 2, 3, going up to 60, 65 years. And extensively grown in tropical and subtropical, humid and needed. And another important distinguishing feature, and again another distinguishing feature is mostly the products are processing, at least minimal process. Just to give an example, like mango is an orchard. Mango, generally we will not categorize at plantation. Why? Because the major consumable item of mango tree is mango itself, the raw product itself. Of course, we are making into pulp and what all post-harvest technology has evolved, we are doing that. But still, the main produce is raw fruit. So mainly plantation crop. This is to just to give an idea and just to distinguish and differentiate because other conditions, mainly mango also satisfies, papaya also satisfies. But then either way, you see there can be distinguishing features between plantation crops and orchards. And the development of plantation, that is also important. We need to know because the historical connotations are still valid. The early 19th century, late 18th century, we have started this plantation crops in our country. Mainly that time, the all traditional plantation crops like tea, coffee, later on rubber and all initiated. So the Europeans, especially Britishers, they were having the knowledge of, and they identified some particular places where these crops can be grown. So one example is the Munnar region of Kerala, of course, Nilagiri of Tamil Nadu. We know the heritage trains and all train here also, Darjeeling also we have. So these locations they identified, earmarked, and they have done wonderful study over there, the soil conditions, whether it can be grown. Then they started growing the tea planters initially there. And one important aspect of this, regarding the labor regime, what they have done, if you see Munnar is in Kerala. If you see the laborers, because now the descendants of early laborers, they are there. They are not from Kerala. They are from far off Tamil Nadu, not even from the nearest district. Why they have done so, these Britishers that time, because they knew that if they employ the traditional native laborers, sooner or later they will develop a kind of union and they will come up with bargaining positions. They do not want to happen that, they want to avoid that. So they encouraged in-migration of laborers from far off Tamil Nadu, that too with the family, because once they come, once the inflow is with the family, they will never go back because they will settle here and they will never develop a bargaining position. That exactly happening. Still, we are following that. So these are the repercussion of some of the actions. That's why I thought that I will just mention that. And in general, the scenario depiction of plantation crops, one factor is you can find the first, second row, the share of small holding in production. Mainly, we have small holders, except tea, the 41% is small holding, and mainly tea plantations are bigger. Otherwise, coffee, including rubber, 93% small holders, and coconut, 92% small holders. Generally, we can categorize this plantation sector in our country is a smallholder sector. And of course, domestic consumption here. The share in global production, if you see, around 24% in tea, 30% in coffee, coconut. But just see the export, only 3%. Here also 11.3, 3.2, 1.2. So even though we are in some of the crops, plantation crops, we are major producers, in the exporting, the trade scenario, we are lacking. This is one aspect to be noted. We will come to it, why we are lacking and what are the repercussions. Yeah, another important feature of this plantation crop, the gender pattern. Who works as employee? The tea plantation, you see, tea sector as such, female contribute around 58%. Coffee, female contributes 62% of the total workforce. And even rubber requires real, tough crop. And even in the case of rubber, 43% contributed that where labor workforce is consisting of female. This is again very startling results. And altogether, if you see the production economics, one fact we have done for coconut, we have done for areca and cocoa also. So what we generally see, out of the total cost of cultivation, 60% of the total cost is accounted by the labor charges. This is, in a way, labor charges, of course, the laborers, they need to get good money. But then when you see it as an enterprise, this is inefficiency. Actually, either because we are unable to use the mechanization properly, that is again because of the smallholder size we are having. And when you compete with other countries, when your labor charge is 60% of the total cost of production, maybe in Philippines and Indonesia, their labor charge is around, labor contribution is around 30%, the total value of cost of cultivation. So there we have again the labor daily wage rate also I have just put. And bring together, we are experiencing the reforms, the liberalization regime. What do you mean by the liberalization? Because we are having an open economy now, especially. So kindly mute yourself if someone is talking. Yeah, especially in the case of agricultural commodities. After 2000, we have opened our gates. That means we are open to the competition for all our plantation crops, agriculture and plantation crops. Because plantation crops are mainly internationally competing crops, other countries also growing. And once we opened our gate, how we opened our gate, we have reduced our tariff rates Earlier tariff rates were very high, so we are unable to import. When you reduce the tariff rate, their cost of cultivation is low, and a lot of flood of imports will happen. So we need to compete with other countries, not only in the domestic front, in the case of exports also. So whichever is the cheaper product, whichever country is producing at a cheaper rate, consuming country will import the product from them only. This exactly happened in the case of tea. We can find the last decade, 40% reduction in tea exports and 30% reduction in coffee. That's what we are unable to compete with many other countries in the international regime. One is because, as I said, the labor charges, labor component is very high in the cost of cultivation. And again, the mechanization, this is hand in glove. Mechanization is comparatively much at a lower rate. And then we will come to sector specific coconut sector. Of course, coconut is also an international commodity, not only India. Many Pacific Island countries are growing coconuts, and Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, they're all growing, and they're all giving fierce competition to India. Just you can see the share in national export. India's share is 0.23%. That means total what we export, the share of coconut in our total agrarian export is 0.23%. Very low. Kiribati, one country, it is pronounced as Kiribati, although it is written Kiribati, but it's Kiribati. Kiribati, 56%, around 57% of their national export is contributed from coconut products. So there's a small island country. So that is the variation. Even Sri Lanka, 5.26%. So why I have shown this, because the importance of a crop, it elucidated from the contribution in their national export. So India, it is comparatively at a lower level of contribution in comparison with other major countries. And exports. So 2 years I have taken, 2012 and 2022, 10 years, 11 years gap. So what we can find is, we are exporting, coconut products. So out of total export, 67% of export is activated carbon. That's coconut shell charcoal based activated carbon. 67% of our total coconut product export. And we are meagerly contributing in other kernel products like fresh coconut, of course, 8.5%, coconut oil only 8%, copra 2%, dried coconut DC, desiccated coconut, that is the powdered coconut, that is only 1%. So this is the position of India when you compare. So fresh coconut 3, and copra, coconut oil, DC, we are not competing with major countries. Of course, in activated carbon and fire sector, that also Sri Lanka is giving tough competition. So we are latecomers in exports in the case of coconuts, but the export revenue earning year to year, 2020-23 and 2021-22, if you compare, 41% increase is there. What do you mean by that? Because there is a sunrise prospect in this coconut products export. So this is a time, or this is a newfound opportunity in the coconut products, because now we have a good market also. We can compete also. It's not easy, it's tougher, but yes, there are prospects. For that, what we need to do, in generally activated carbon in the world growing at a compound annual growth rate of 5.4% annually. That's a huge growth. So if we can produce good quality activated carbon made of shell charcoal of coconuts, that is very acceptable. So that is a kind of signal where we can compete, where we can start off an enterprise. But the quality and pollution control, many other things are there. And India's desiccated coconut, I have seen only 1% only we are contributing. But our desiccated coconut and coconut oil, it is very much preferred abroad. Because mainly Philippines, Indonesia, and other countries are supplying. But a lot of consignment rejections are happening because of low quality, especially from Europe and USA. The major consumers of these high-value coconut kernel products are Europe and USA. So there is a market access opportunity. And when you talk about market access, we should be able to supply ample quantity in good quality. One example is Carafed. Carafed is a nodal agency of procurement of copra in Kerala, centrally assigned agency. But they got an order from European Union, demanding huge quantity of copra immediately after the COVID pandemic. So, but they were unable to supply it. Because they wanted huge quantity, the specified quantity they wanted, because there Sri Lanka was having some crisis, they were unable to supply. This was a good chance that we could get the market access and continue that, but we lost it. So that's what, when you start a business abroad, when you are trading abroad, the quantity and quality and assured supply, this is must actually. And now in the coir sector, we have a newfound opportunity in coir pith. Coir pith is in huge demand abroad for their soilless cultivation, pots, gardening, especially in Western countries and high value countries. There is huge demand. We ourselves, we see 2011-12, it was only 21%. Now 51% of our total coir product export, it is consisting of coir pith. So this is these price signals, the share signals, this we need to observe and we need to act if you really wanted to do a business, global business. And this is country's share of the consumption of coconut oil. Here also, who is consuming? Philippines, of course, European Union, USA, they are consuming huge quantity of coconut oil. Their consumption is huge. Not only coconut oil, desiccated cotton, that's a high value product. You see who is consuming more desiccated cotton. Europe 39% and America 26%. They together contribute around 55-56%. So there is market actually. Desiccated coconut is another. There are problems also when you inform that there is a huge opportunity. There are threats, challenges, so many things. We have interacted with so many desiccated coconut unit entrepreneurs. So we found that also. I'll come to it later. And why? Because we have. I told earlier that we are unable to compete properly in the international market. You can see it's here very logically the prices. Philippines, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, they are major exporters, and India. So coconut oil, see our price per metric ton is 2,238, but then Philippines can provide for 800. So who will buy from us internationally? No. Copra, desiccated coconut also. Fresh coconut also. So we are expensive. Our product value is high because of our cost of production. This is one of the aspects we are unable to compete. Efficiency should be brought into this aspect. We really wanted to compete. Now, apart from the global side, internally also coconut, we, as I said earlier, we have very small holding, and because of that, very less marketable surplus we generate, additional supply. And we will not do most of the copra making or minimal processing. We just sell it. That's the way here. It's not the producer level. There is no much of processing we are carrying out. And that's what there is very low marketing efficiency also. The market chain consumes around 46% of the total share. So this is one of the aspects. Now, I am just giving an example of Kerala, but Tamil Nadu, there is different because it's more of a commercial production, Tamil Nadu, and even some part of the Andhra Pradesh. But Karnataka and Kerala, the situation is mostly smallholders. And Kerala condition, so many agencies are there. You know that minimum support price is there for copra, but then Carafed, CDC, so many agencies are entrusted to do this, and there is a redundancy in operation. This is also an issue. This should be streamlined. This is at a policy level. We need to streamline. And another threat what we face, especially in the coconut sector, other cheaper edible oils. Earlier, there was a propaganda against coconut oil. Early 70s and all, coconut oil was very much consumed abroad, overseas. Even in the USA, it was much like, it was categorized as a healthy oil. But then soybean and sunflower lobby came and they stamped coconut as a coronary heart disease making oil. So still we are following, even if now we go to a doctor, suppose for an elevated blood pressure condition, they will immediately suggest that we stop coconut oil. Of course, we need to avoid oil because reused oil is a problem. But coconut oil, as of now, with the research, we can say the safest oil. But still, that stigma applies to this oil. And always, we in India, excluding Kerala and somewhat of some southern Karnataka, we mostly consume other oils and cheaper edible oil. India is deficient of edible oil, so cheaper edible oils are available. This is one aspect. No, the price conditions are not favorable for coconut because cheaper edible oils are available. They will, hotel industry or whoever it is available, they will switch to that. So that is another. There is again, there are policy areas where now the government can take some kind of proactive farmer policy. And younger people, upper middle class people also, now they feel that olive oil and other oils are the best comparing to care. I have worked in Pacific Islands, some of the countries. So one of my neighbors was a US family person. They were using coconut oil, in fact, not any other oil. And that was the best coconut oil they will get from the US store nearby. So they say that this is the best oil. We are using it now. Earlier, see, this is the change happening, no? But here it is not catching up. Yes. And just like entrepreneurs, we have studied some of the FPOs, coconut-based FPOs, farmer producer organizations. Those who have started, they've flourished. But then we try to understand the problems with them. So mainly because this can be very much give a reflection. One is the working capital. Once they start, then they were unable to roll the working capital for lack of professional leadership, especially the farmer producer organizations. There is a there should be a leader who can foresee the things and guide the people and steer them. But if he is having vested interest, the entire organization will collapse. This has happened in many, and lack of constant institutional support and focus on output volume only, then quality, quantity, and see so many other aspects we need to concentrate. And branding, lack of brand. No FPO has come, except few case studies. Otherwise, there's no generic brand with generated by any FPOs. So these all the aspects why they were unable to perform. Some of them are doing very well, but we have given some options also. Anyway, I will share this slide with you so you can refer it. And some of the suggestions, like one important, streamline the tender coconut market with a common brand. That we can, if some of you are interested, we can think of how to create a common brand. Because tender coconut is still hot cake actually. If you come up with a new idea and see with minimal idea of making it more hygiene and appearable, so that can do wonder, I think. So, and food safety laws, we need to give adequate trust. That is another area of discriminating our product and giving it a much better price in the domestic market. And also in the global market, there is no other way other than complying with the food safety standards. And just we are coming to the spices. In the case of spices, India is forefront actually. And which is the most exported spice from our country? Chili, around 30%. Of course, other main products, cooking oils and other oleoresins are all there, but chili is the major spice product exported from our country. And where we are exporting, here also major consumers or major procuring countries are USA, China, and European Union. So again, spices also hit by a lot of consumer rejection from our country because of lack of food safety standards, adhering to the food safety standards. I will just show it. See, India is #1 in many spices exports. India's rank we can see, except spices and garlic, we are #1. Clove, we are #9. Guatemala, yeah. This I will skip. So food safety standards, especially I was just mentioning, in the case of spices, a lot many consumer projects. Because spices in the exclusively for spices, HACCP and USFDA standards and European Commission directives were there. And 2005 onwards, they started enforcing that. So we had to change everything here. What the way we are processing, the hygienic conditions we are practicing, the labor conditions we are practicing, this had happened in spices. Earlier it was hit the marine fishery sector. Then later on it came to the spice sector. And you can see the consignment retention in the case of, and the reasons also, the India's case here, last year, capsicum 14 rejections. Rejections with the retention was there. So many a times it will be rejected later on. Adulteration, aflatoxin, filthy adulteration, foreign objects, so many misbranding, list of ingredients. So the whole idea is now when you are into the spices business, whether it is for domestic market, whether it is for exports, these things are very important now. A lot of investment is also needed. It's not easy just to enter the spice market and spice trade and do the best. So we need to be very careful about this. And just a tinge of areca nut. So areca nut is, there is no much of value addition in this crop. This is our crop. Here we are our mandate, one of the mandate crops. So just I will touch upon that. Here mostly areca nut is produced in Kerala, Karnataka. Karnataka is the major producer. Major chunk of production of areca nut is from Karnataka. And of course, some part of the Kerala also we are producing areca nut. And major market is in North India, Gujarat, Rajasthan, some part of UP, Kolkata it goes, and even Tamil Nadu and Madhya Pradesh, those areas also it goes. So there are different grades of areca nut. So value addition will happen only in the case of pan masala, and otherwise the major product is chali, that is dried areca nut. It will go to Gujarat and that's the best quality areca nut. But what exactly happened of late, the prices of this areca nut unprecedentedly gone much higher level, especially from April 2020 onwards. So this is an unknown reason why, because still we feel that so much demand is there, no? With chewing, areca nut mainly used for purpose of chewing. And this best quality areca nut also, so without any value addition, it goes to Gujarat and Rajkot, as I said earlier, and for consumption purpose. And what exactly happened, since the prices are good, so many middlemen came, bubbling up middlemen. So the entire market is now flooded with middlemen because of making money. The farmer is not getting the exact share what he deserves. The value share of the farmer has come down to 49. Earlier it was 63%. Just even the prices has gone, prices have gone up. The value share of the farmer has come down. Just the new bubbled up middlemen, they were eating the profit because lot of market coding, tax evasion. So it's a long story. I will cut it. So and even we are now doing a study on this, why this areca nut prices are going up, and so much import is also. India is the major producer, but then again from other countries we are importing also. So this much consumption has gone up. We are not sure. So we are doing a study on this aspect, and smuggled entry from Silchar and Palakana area and disused imports in different HS code with an accepted level HS code. Disused imports also happen in the case of areca. So the balance of trade, that you can see that the export and import. Export is just a red, orange label, and import you can see with the pista label much higher. Yeah, different HS code also it is getting imported. So one way, I have shown earlier that 60 to 70% of areca nut trade is controlled by private traders and middlemen, newbie middlemen. So that the cooperative should take a better role, and at least their share should go up to 30%, so that we can control the market, so that the farmer share also will increase. This is again pertaining to the policy line. So it has to be enforced by the government, the stakeholder government. And another crop is cocoa, the chocolate crop. There is a positive cocoa demand we are experiencing, especially for the past few years. And the prices are also good, and prices are stable. But then it is not always believable, the prices. The cocoa prices is, again, cocoa is an international crop. It is also enlisted in the stock exchange, London Stock Exchange also. So the international prices are volatile in the case of cocoa. Mainly cocoa is produced in West Africa. 75% of the total production is from Senegal, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, those areas. And any minimal turbulence, they always have political unrest and social issues. So any minimal turbulence in those countries, it will affect the prices of cocoa. So even if we are having a good crop now, it will take 3 to 4 years, 4 to 5 years to come up to the yielding stage. By that time, we never know the prices are good or not. Maybe the prices will crash that time, we will be at loss. This is a threat in the case of cocoa. So it is always better to grow as an intercrop, so that we will have a safety mechanism. With arecanut or with coconut, we can grow, not as a monocrop. So the prices, the cocoa prices, international prices and world prices, you can see that it is always integrated. When the world price goes down, the domestic price also will go down. So this is a problem with the cocoa, just because it's so much international, so that the prices are very well determined by elsewhere. But then the positive aspect is our consumption. Our consumption of chocolate and the confectionery industry as such, it is growing at 22% annual, at an annual growth rate. So that is a very positive outlook it provides. And supply gap is huge. 60% of the cocoa powder or cocoa butter, what we require for production, is getting imported. 60% or 65% now. So we are producing just 25 to 30%. So it's a huge supply gap. To meet up the supply gap, we need to have a required growth of annual growth rate of 7.68%. That is very important. And cocoa also, again, the food safety standards, that is another. If you want to enter the trade, chocolate making startups with bean to bar chocolates and all. So quality standards, again, is a bigger issue. It's very perishable. So we need to have the proper certification for this, and all the labeling and everything, and the making, the processing. Like HACCP, what we have, hazard analysis critical control plan. Each stage we should be very careful. And sustainable cocoa production, devoting child labor is now, we can see the chocolate consumption has changed a lot. Now, the outlets, we can see chocolates from Ghana, chocolate from specifically from Ivory Coast, in the label of Mars and Nestle, Nestle, Mars, and other bigger Swiss companies also entered here. We will get the retail cocoa product chocolates. So there we can find that this chocolate is made devoid of child labor, or its sustainable production practices are practiced, or fair trade is followed, organically produced. So specialty chocolates are coming up, and now India, we don't have the child labor engagement in cocoa plant. So mainly the Ivory Coast and Nigeria and Senegal, Ghana, they don't have. Other countries, Western African countries, they do have a major component of child labor. Now they are tracing back. Now this is an opportunity. If we really wanted to come up with a brand or come up with a product, even a generic product, block chocolates, if we can certify that it is devoid of child labor, it is organically produced and keeping quality is there with fair standards and fair trade. So it will fetch good price and it will fetch market. So this is just signaling. I'm just signaling the opportunities, how we can move rather than making a bulk commodity. These things if we take care, especially the food safety, wherever you enter now onwards, food safety standards is must actually. And some of the case studies also we will discuss. One is the Nira value chain. Nira, we know the coconut sap. Earlier, it was not permitted. No, it was coming under the Abkari, the excise law, the liquor making. There's a subtle difference between the toddy. Toddy is the liquor made of coconut sap. And Nira, as such, it is a very good, healthy, low glycemic index commodity drink. And its huge potential was there. Then we could able to untie the red tapeism, and we have some protocols to produce Nira legally from 2011 onwards. Now Karnataka, even Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh also started producing. Kerala initially started. They were the pioneers here. And it was a potential breakthrough because coconut oil, very much the coconut prices and coconut sector as such, very much dependent on coconut oil. And then in that case, Nira was a potential breakthrough. But then when we studied here, initially 204, more than 200 licenses for coconut producer federations we have given, the government sanction. But in a span of 3 years, only 95 initiated the production. And mostly 82 of them later on when we were studying that in 2016, 82 of them have discontinued. So that means even such a wonderful product, they were unable to continue, discontinued the venture. So that indicates a problematic. So these are all the problems we could elucidate from the respondents why they could not. Scarcity and high wage rate of palm climbers, because climbing is and specific skill is required, Nira technician. So lack of continued support, inadequate support from government, market-related issues, and low yield, and so many. So this is again why it is happening. It's a breakthrough product, and we have advertised with much difficulty. It came out of the red tapeism, but it was not successful initially. Now it is picking up, but it is still not into the full-fledged action, the commodity. Because there were no consumer perception studies, marketing or trade or the business as such. The initial thing is the consumer perception studies. What exactly the consumer feel? A very scientific consumer perception study on this product should be done. Like Frito-Lay's or any other company who is coming with food product, they will do 3 to 4 years rigorous work. They will have a product line. Suppose they wanted to launch a product in 2027, they will start now. They will have the product, different areas, they will do the perception study, pilot study, they will test again. So that way they launch the product with much confidence. Here we just launch, we get into the launch of the program and without any profit analysis, because it involves a lot of, as I said, the cumbersome activities. An area technician should be there, how to tap it, how to get the juice, the sap from it, without any contamination. Certification is a different process, and continuous supply of the material. There were so many vendors earlier supplying Nira. In Ernakulam, there is a Vaitila hub, the heart of the city. There was a Nira vending machine by a producer company. And excellent Nira we used to get. So one day we get it, very next day they will say that it has not come, because supply was not there. The consumer will be dejected. So continuous supply of the material, they stopped it. I don't know whether they are functioning now. So continuous supply of the material, the product, with same consistency. The Coca-Cola, if you taste from here or from America, the taste will be same. So Nira, if you taste here and some other vending machine, if you taste it, it will be different. Packed Nira will be different. The taste will be different. So why I am telling this now, the product launch and the product consistency, the product positioning, it also solve the issues, problem. So when as a small startup, we are starting off any business, these all things we need to take care of. Like not only Nira and coconut chips, we have an experience. Coconut chips is a very good product and very tasty. Whenever we distributed during the exhibitions and all, people gave very good feedback. This is a very tasty product, and the fiber content is more, and it's far better than other potato chips or any other chips in terms of nutritive value. But then it was having a problem actually. We also didn't notice that if you taste it, it is very tasty. But then the residual of the coconut roughage, it will stick on to your tongue and upper palate, and you may not feel to take it more. You can taste few and you can leave it. So accordingly, if that is the problem, otherwise it's very tasty. So once you taste this coconut chips today, you may revisit the product maybe after 2 or 3 days. So that is the pattern. So what we thought that it is a product resembling Frito-Lays or any other chips. So no, this packaging, positioning should have been in a different way. So initially we failed to push the product, but later on with small packs and with variation in flavor, we could push the product more. So again, this is a problem of the consumer preference studies and pilot testing. Nira, of course, inconsistency in product attributes we have discussed. Virgin coconut oil. Now, what is the difference between virgin coconut oil and normal coconut oil? Many people don't know. It has got far fabulous nutritive capabilities. It's a miracle oil. It's the real virgin coconut oil, it's a miracle oil. So we were unable to position it that way. Now, why we have to pay more price for virgin coconut oil and consume it? So that awareness was not properly created. Still, it is not there. And desiccated coconut also, the consumer perception studies still that's a wonderful product for the fast moving lifestyle. Now we are adopted by the techies and all. It's a wonderful product. Instead of doing all the drudgery things with the coconut, we can have this desiccated coconut, good quality desiccated coconut. Just sprinkle some water and coconut is ready. So some of the challenges with the entrepreneurs, what we have. One is the adulteration. Small or big, small scale entrepreneurs or even bigger entrepreneurs. So suppose desiccated coconut oil, a good quality coconut oil, there is lot of adulterated product. So they have to compete with them. It is very difficult to distinguish between a proper good quality coconut oil and adulterated with paraffin oil or some other very low quality oil. It is very difficult to distinguish these two for a normal common man. Even for a educated man, it is very difficult. It's almost same. The fragrance is same and the consistency will be same. So, but the cost of production, if you see, it will be 1/4 of the real coconut oil. So the real producers will face a lot of threat from this. They have to price compete with this low, cheaper product. So last year in Tamil Nadu, 125 brands were banned, coconut oil banned, because that is the tip of an iceberg only. They have tested and they found that these are adulterated. In Kerala also 72 brands were temporarily banned because of adulteration. So that is again cheap imports. As I said, edible oil in the case of these, cheap edible oils are getting imported because of we are edible oil deficient country. This is another issue. That is again labor, the policy level issue. And prices of raw material. So an entrepreneur means, especially in the plantation crops, as I said earlier, the prices are volatile. So you are starting a processing enterprise, then the prices of raw materials are going up. The farmer will feel happy, but the entrepreneur will feel really sad because no, their cost of production will increase. So the volatile prices of raw material is another issue, and timely supply of quality and quantity. That we have seen example earlier, Carafed example of supplying coconut oil, and even if the Nira's case also supply in time, that is that really matters. And again, export market, studying export market. If you want to enter the global market, studying export market and catering to their needs, it's all important. So ultimately, the new entrepreneurs should come up with the USP, unique selling proposition, how their product, how they are different. And they have to realign their production structure according to the price signals if they want to. Even domestically, they want to compete also. Even internationally, there is no need to say that. And at the end of the day, the farmer welfare is important, consumer welfare is important, and the small scale entrepreneur welfare is also important. So how to keep the balance, that is the toughest part. I think with this, I stop this 1 hour presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Just I thought that glimpse of this, here a scattered information, but trying to provide a kind of opener.